What was the breaking point for this decision, you think?
Combination of the two. I mean, first of all, James Dolan is incredibly fond of Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony is somebody I still believe should get the hell up out of New York. Why he would want to stay is beyond me, but he loves being a New York Knick. He loves playing at Madison Square Garden. Phil Jackson was certainly entertaining the opportunities to buy him out because ultimately he just didn't want Carmelo Anthony there. He thought that you got to move in a different direction, and he wanted to buy Carmelo and his $54 million out of his contract. And James Dolan and the New York Knicks were obviously incredibly averse to that. That was definitely not a good thing. But when Porzingis spoke out against Phil Jackson, not just by virtue of refusing to show up to the exit interview, but also through his brother Giannis speaking out against Phil Jackson, talking about certain things, it was clear that Porzingis didn't want to play for Phil Jackson in New York City. This is a young budding star. He's 7'3" with a jump shot and athletic ability. His upside is tremendous. And Phil Jackson came out and was talking about, hey, we got to do what's good for the team. Now, according to my sources, he was never going to trade Porzingis. But keep in mind that when he was on the phones talking about and entertaining calls, rather, about trading Porzingis, my sources told me even the San Antonio Spurs picked up the phone and called the New York Knicks to inquire about what it would take to take Porzingis. So Phil may have been using Porzingis and trying to find out what his value would be in the open market, but it doesn't negate the fact that the manner in which he spoke about Porzingis, combined with how he treated Carmelo Anthony about this season, and we've never seen a star treated so disrespectfully as Carmelo Anthony was treated throughout this entire season. All of those things ultimately soured James Dolan on the situation at hand, and he finally came to his senses and did what he should have done months ago, to be quite honest with you, because remember, just months ago, he picked up the 2-year option on Phil Jackson's contract, which was as idiotic as you can be.
The City Double Cash Card presents tips for watching sports with your friends. Number 5, be passionate.
Oh, shouting what I would have done on that last play.
I am way too invested in this.
Check it out. I'm completely overreacting, so you know I care.
Wouldn't it be great if everyone said what they meant? The City Double Cash Card does. It lets you earn double cash back with 1% when you buy and 1% as you pay. The City Double Cash Card. Double means double.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A.
It's a Tuesday. Stephen A. is out. Dave Rothenberg taking his place. So a lot on the table. Quickly, Giants had 4 players in the top 100. I think Snacks was 96-ish, which is comical. Janoris Jenkins 54, Landon Collins 28, Beckham 8. And this is players that vote. And obviously you can't compare because you'd have I wonder if they said just drafting guys, how would you rank them? The top what would be quarterbacks? 10, 12, 14? Because it's obvious, and the Jets know this more than anybody. If you don't have a quarterback, you've got nothing. But it's not based on that. It's just, inclusive of their position. Where do you rank these certain guys? So it's Brady as 1, Von Miller 2, Julio Jones 3. You want to tell me Julio Jones top-ranked wide receiver? I think that's fine. Antonio Brown 4, Khalil Mack 5, Aaron Rodgers 6, which that's my issue. Look, you disagree, it's fine. To me, Aaron Rodgers is better quarterback than Tom Brady. He's better. Brady's 1 more. Rodgers is better. Elliott 7. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott is the 7th best player in the NFL. And again, it's for fun, and we're not dissecting it like we do when there's games or anything, but I just think it's a little off. Beckham 8. Of any player in the NFL, which guy, when he puts his hands on the ball, has a better chance to score a touchdown than anybody else? To me, that's Beckham. I'd have him higher than 8. Le'Veon Bell 9. Matt Ryan 10. Jets fans, nobody made the list from your team. Nobody. 866-ESPN, 866-729-3776. Mike in Pennsylvania is on ESPN Radio. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how are you?
Good. What's on your mind
today? I'm just giving a call to see what your thoughts are on Carmelo going to Philadelphia. I don't.
You got to
see a
trade.
problem
You're,
with that
you're
at
offering
all.
me something here.
Well, I'm thinking if they buy him out, he could go to Philadelphia with that great, strong core of young players there.
No way. No
No,
chance.
you don't
why,
think so?
No. Well, why would Carmelo go to Philadelphia, a team that's nowhere near winning, when if he's bought out, he could go to teams that are on the verge of winning? He can go to Cleveland if he gets bought out.
That's true. But without him, they beat Boston this year. They beat Washington this year. They took Golden State to the brink. They took Cleveland to the brink as well. Now put Carmelo in there, Ben Simmons in there, their new number one pick with Embiid in
Mike,
the middle.
I'm not sitting here telling you that Melo doesn't make Philadelphia a better team. Of course Melo makes Philadelphia a better team. What's the impetus for Carmelo Anthony to be able to sign with anybody and go to a team that, if things go well, sneaks into the postseason?
Well, he'll be a starter in Philadelphia. He won't be a bench player.
So you're going
to
to offer one of the great scorers. Here's what we have to offer you. I'm going to sit down.
Okay.
I'm Brent Brown. Sell me. We can give you a starting position on a team like this. You don't think if he goes to Boston he's a starter, or Cleveland he's a starter, or San Antonio he's a starter? He's going to start wherever he goes. Mike, your pitch is awful. It's horrendous.
Well, I tried. I am the casual fan from Reading, and I'm outside of Philadelphia, and I like the 76ers. I just looked at it that they have a strong core of young guys, put a nice veteran in there to help teach them how to be winners.
You're looking for a Robert Horry. Not actually Robert Horry because he's older, but you're looking for a glue guy. You're looking for someone like that. You're not looking for Carmelo Anthony. And thanks for the call. Carmelo Anthony is I don't know why outside of he is a child in New York. I have no understanding of why forget about the Knicks wanting Melo. No understanding other than to get into a battle with Phil Jackson. Why Carmelo Anthony would want to be with this organization. Can you? Kid, totally get it. Wants to frustrate Phil Jackson. Don't buy it. Don't like it. Why would you want to be here? The team hasn't gone to the postseason in 4 years. The team is completely dysfunctional. You're playing irrelevant basketball from January 1st on. Why would you want to be here if you're Carmelo Anthony? Where you could go to a number of teams and be much better and much more relevant and play in much more important games. Jay in Jersey. You're on ESPN Radio, Jay. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Dave, man. Look here, I'm with you, Dave. Like Aaron Rodgers being number 6, I have nothing against Tom Brady. I'm a Michigan guy. I love Michigan Wolverines, but come on, Dave. I mean, if you look at everything, if you take Tom Brady off the Patriots and put him on the Packers, will they still be the same way with that defense how it was this year?
I don't. I think that because I think they're actually better with Rodgers because Rodgers is elusive and Brady is not.
Exactly. That's why I've been trying to. And if you put Aaron Rodgers on the Patriots, you don't think that they would be better? Of course they would. And
better, as good. As good. I'll sit there and tell you that. Yes, as good.
As good. And I heard one of your callers say that Aaron Rodgers, or somebody say Aaron Rodgers don't make the people around him better, and Tom Brady do. Well, the system makes the players better in New England. Not taking nothing away from Tom Brady.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and beat up Tom Brady. That's not my intent here. My only point is that if I'm starting a franchise, if I can have one of those guys for just this year, so age really isn't an issue. Just this coming year, Jay, and thanks for the call, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. If you can have any player in the NFL for 1 year, who do you want? I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. Do I take Brady second? Probably. I think he's better than Matt Ryan, yes. Roethlisberger, yes. Rivers, yes. Breeze, yes. Russell Wilson, yes. Yeah, there's no shame in number 2. I just think that Aaron Rodgers is better right now and has been. I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. I think that as much credit as we give Aaron Rodgers, we don't give him enough. I think people are always, and Brady's elite. He's fantastic. He's got every record. He'll go down as number 1. I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. Tariq in Jersey. Tariq, you're on ESPN Radio.
Hey, what's going on? I just wanted to see if you could hear me out about the Jets. I know they're irrelevant right now.
They're not irrelevant.
I had a few questions for you. Mm-hmm. Based on last year's roster, I don't really see them being that much worse than last year, seeing how maybe the quarterback situation is the same. Running back.
How is the quarterback? You don't think the quarterback situation takes a little bit of a drop?
I mean,
you don't think the wide receiver situation takes a little bit of a drop?
No, because Brandon Marshall really didn't play to his full potential. Eric Decker was hurt. The two guys that were starting, Enunwa and Anderson, are going to be starting this year. And then the defense, the leadership is there with the new young kid. And safety position got upgraded.
Safety position, but the cornerbacks are bad.
If Claiborne stays healthy, I think we get a good tandem. You know, like I said, it's not perfect, but it'll probably get the job done with the new kid back there. Safety.
They have nothing that's explosive on offense. Nothing.
I know, but you know, I say like take what we can this year and then see what we can do.
And you make it sound like they were a 9-win team last year, Tariq. They won 5 games. No. So you couldn't see the Jets going 3-13 this year.
I could, but like I said, I see those positions as being an upgrade over last year, and the fight will be there, not like last year.
But I don't think the quarterback position is better. And if they're going to play Hackenberg and Petty for an extended period of time, I think it dips off a lot. Look, Fitzpatrick is not a good quarterback. But I think when you see Hackenberg, you're going to pine for a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick. No?
I don't know. I give the kids a chance. Let them go.
I'm all for that. I just think they're going to have a bad team. Would you rather go 5-11 or 2-14?
No, I'd rather go 2-14.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Well,
I think you're right.
Fan, I think you're right. Cheer for them to lose. I'd always cheer for them to win, even though I might go into the game saying, "Okay, we're going to lose," but I'd always want them to
agree
win.
with you. When the Giants were bad, and the last time they were that bad, and thanks for the call, was I guess 2003, the year they drafted Eli. And I remember just like you're numb. You sit there and you don't root against them, but you watch without any emotion. And at the end of the day, I'm telling you, if you win 5 games and you're the Jets this year, you have failed this entire year. If you're what you were last year, or even a little bit better, this entire season has been a complete and utter failure. I don't want 5 wins. I don't want to pick 5th. I want 2 wins, and I want to pick 1st. And if I don't get that, this thing has not worked. There's a major problem. 866-ESPN, 866-729-3776. And you don't root for your team to lose? But when you know your team's going to be bad, I think you just kind of sit back and relax. I'll tell you what, there's no pressure on the Jets this year. Like, Jets go out, they lose 35-14. All right, 0-1, move to the next week. You're going to be frenetic about the Jets this year. You're a Jets fan, so you'll sit there and you'll watch it and you'll discuss it and you'll look towards the future. That's what this year is for the Jets. This is a look to the future season. If you're a Jets fan, your number one thing is you want to watch the Jets and watch them closely and see who's got a potential to be a decent player moving forward. And your number 2 thing, I want to watch USC football, I want to watch Wyoming football, and I want to watch UCLA football for the quarterbacks.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
People are very upset on Twitter. Will Perez says Rodgers could never bring his team back like Brady did in the Super Bowl. And this is coming from a Jets fan. You're absolutely crazy. Patrick Taylor, Cross 777, all very bothered by this. Guys, do you not think that Aaron Rodgers, I mean, you really don't think that Aaron Rodgers does more things than Tom Brady? Tom Brady's great. Rodgers is, I mean, you can't, there's nothing to do to stop this guy. The only way we've seen him slowed in his career is when the offensive line was a disaster. Can you at least agree that he's number 2 to Rodgers 1, or no? Or do you think Tom Brady's the greatest thing you've ever seen? So, yeah, I think we're such prisoners of the moment that no one can ever be what Tom Brady is or was or can be or will be. I love Brady. I think Brady is elite. I think if you're ranking the all-time great quarterbacks, that Tom Brady is top 3. I think that Aaron Rodgers is up there as well. Aaron Rodgers, that game against the Cowboys last year for Rodgers. See, Rodgers' team is just not as good as Brady's. And for all you people that go back and say, Brady's got 5 Super Bowls. Brady was a passenger on a couple of those teams. That first Super Bowl win, yeah, he led them into field goal range. What, they win 2017? Their offense scored 13 points, and Ty Law have an interception for a touchdown in that game? Tom Brady has become elite the further he's come along in his career. Like, this version of Tom Brady is better than year 3 of Tom Brady, I'll tell you that. He's great. I just think that Aaron Rodgers is better. Aaron Rodgers has a much bigger arm. Aaron Rodgers is more elusive. The play breaks down. You'd rather have Rodgers. Who's on the better team? Right now, you take Rodgers, you take Brady off those teams. If you take them off those teams, and you put Eli Manning, or it doesn't matter what quarterback, Matt Ryan, they have a better chance of winning with Green Bay or New England. It's not close. New England. 866-ESPN, 866-729-3776. Dominique, D.C., you're on ESPN Radio.
Hey, how's it going, mate?
What's up, man? How are you, Dominique?
Good, good. I actually have 3 points, man. I agree with you about Ezekiel Elliott. You know, I really feel like I can name about 5 or 6 running backs better than him. Since last season is the only season we really have to go off of. Real quick, Bell, Johnson, I think Jordan Howard, maybe Jonathan.
Who's John? You think Chris Johnson is better than him? Not Chris Johnson. No, David Johnson, right? Yeah.
Right. Jonathan Stewart, maybe Devontae Freeman.
No. Look, David Johnson, fine. Le'Veon Bell, fine. Jonathan Stewart, no way.
I think he had a pretty good season.
No way. That's not even up for debate. Jonathan Stewart, no way. Jonathan Stewart is not Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay. In terms of running the ball, I think he could be. But Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, I think they're pretty good running backs in their own.
They're very good. Look, you want to tell me David Johnson? I can buy that. Who's the other one you said?
I said
you want to tell me Le'Veon Bell? I'm fine with that. Elliott is great. I just think that Elliott is not the 7th best player in the NFL right now. I think that the fact that he's got that offensive line in front of him, you know what the truth is? I don't think we know how good he is. Because I think that he's in a situation which is you almost can't fail in. Alfred Morris succeeded there. DeMarco Murray, look what DeMarco Murray did there. DeMarco Murray ran for 1,800 yards in that offense. And it's not to take away from Elliott. I think he's a better running back than those guys. I just think that it's hard to determine how good he is with how much talent it surrounds him on that offense.
I understand that. I don't think you can play Morris in the type of way because he had success in his past too with Washington. But
and he's way better than Alfred Morris. But DeMarco Murray had 1,800 yards in that offense a couple years ago.
Right. And that's a good point as well. And also with Rodgers, I really feel like Rodgers' athletic ability, like you said, really sets him apart from Brady. He can do some tremendous things outside of the pocket. And, just his ability to escape pressure and make plays in the clutch, those Hail Marys, I think that's a big part of his game. And that really sets him apart from Brady. Not saying that Brady isn't clutch and he doesn't come through in the big moments. He definitely does. But just Rodgers, his plays just seem much more special when he does them. And I don't feel like
Aaron Rodgers, Dominic. Aaron Rodgers makes plays, and again, this is not a knock on Brady. And thanks for the call. Aaron Rodgers makes plays that Tom Brady could never make. Tom Brady's won games that Aaron Rodgers has never won, but Aaron Rodgers makes plays that Tom Brady could never ever make because he's not the same kind of quarterback. It's not a knock on Brady. I think Brady is elite. I think Brady is, one of the greats we've ever seen. I think what Rodgers is able to do is like nothing I've ever seen in my life. We go from Dominique to Dominique. Now, this is Dominique in Atlanta. This is not Dominique Wilkins, is it?
It's Dominique Atlanta. No, this ain't Dominique Wilkins.
All right. Well, go ahead.
It's Dominique the Gas Man from the Gas Station Radio Show.
All right, Dominique. What's on your mind?
Because, I was calling you, man, because I was listening to you. I think that Aaron Rodgers, the Aaron Rodgers and the Tom Brady comparison, the difference from Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady is Tom Brady got no heart. Aaron Rodgers
more
I
attitude.
don't know how you determine that he has more heart. I think Tom Brady is elite, but I don't know how you determine that he has more heart. And thanks for the call, Dominic. How great is this, by the way? So I have NFL Live on, and I paused it just to read you this quote. This is coaches and GMs of outside of the NFC North. Quote, what Rodgers does better outside the pocket is better than anyone, maybe the best ever in the history of the NFL. How interesting is that? That we're having this discussion and this pops up. This is from multiple coaches and GMs outside of the NFC North. What Rodgers does better outside the pocket is better than anyone, maybe the best ever in the history of the NFL. I'm telling you, Brady can't do the things Rodgers can do. Nobody can do the things. Now, Romo was closer to being able to do what Rodgers is than Brady. And I'm not saying Romo is better, but for my money, if I had to win this year and I had to take one quarterback to do it, I would take Rodgers. Do you disagree with that? Would you go Brady? Would you go Ryan? Would you go Breeze? I wouldn't. I'd go Rodgers 1. So for me, this list is wrong. For me, this list, and it's NFL players, which is fine, that vote on it. For me, my number 1, top 100, NFL, Aaron Rodgers. Case closed.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Mark Stein. This is verified at ESPN Steinline on Twitter. League sources say Carmelo Anthony's camp, while acknowledging Melo's presence to stay in New York City, has tried to engage the Knicks in buyout talks. But league sources say that the Knicks have thus far resisted the idea of a Melo buyout that would clear the way for him to join the Cavaliers. If I'm the Knicks, I'm not buying you out. Why am I going to buy you out for $40 million? $35 million? And be on the hook for that and get nothing and have no services of yours? Why would I do that? I know it's going to be hard to deal him. Maybe Carmelo has to open up some other teams to his list. So if he's with, now this to me, and again, you don't know what's true and what's not, but if he's open to being bought out and going to Cleveland, then the whole potential about not wanting to leave New York because of his son doesn't really add up. If there's places he wants to go, then the whole thing with his son doesn't really make sense. You know, I would respect him if he came out and through, Ian Begley or Mark Stein or one of these guys and said, look, I'm staying in New York because I want to be near my kid and I'm not leaving, and that's the way it is. You know what? I wouldn't love it. I'd be frustrated as a Knicks fan, but I'd get it as a parent. But buy me out so I can go where I want to go? Well, that doesn't fly. Accept a trade to another team then. Although here's the thing. How many teams do you think really want Carmelo Anthony for something? Yeah, would Cleveland take him for no money if the Knicks buy him out? Sure, anybody would. But do you think there are clubs out there that are going to say, yeah, we want your $50 million 2-year contract that remains, and we'll give you X, Y, and Z? No. What value does he have? And I know a lot of people, he's mellow, he's a great scorer. What value does he have? You tell me. What team is going to trade real pieces for Carmelo Anthony? You trade Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony? Does that make you better? I don't think it does. It may make you equal, but I don't think it makes you better. So what are you going to do that for? Celtics? You're going to give up Jay Crowder, Avery Bradley, Marcus Smart? Why? Players that have bright futures for Carmelo Anthony? No, I wouldn't do that. So what team do you think is going to give up valuable pieces for Carmelo Anthony? And then he has the right of last refusal. Even if the Knicks are talking to somebody, he can say, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to Minnesota. I don't want to go to Miami. I don't want to go to Utah. I don't want to go to those teams. I want to stay with the Knicks or Cleveland. I mean, he could do that. You know what the truth is? This thing could get very ugly. Not that it's not ugly now. This thing could get really, really ugly. I mean, this is a everyday new news about it. We're in June. What happens when we get to October and Melo's still here? Somebody's got to give. Somebody's got to blink. Who will it be? We don't know. Richard, you're on ESPN Radio. What's up, Rich?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
Hey, so yeah, about that point you just touched with the Knicks. Shouldn't like Carmelo and Porzingis trade talk, shouldn't that put the Knicks like feet to the fire and like fire Phil Jackson? Like that's what I think. Like,
He's
why
not
would
gonna
you
do
let
it.
your two best players?
Richard,
I don't
he's
understand that.
not James Dolan. This doesn't even come into his mindset. There is no chance he fires Phil Jackson. He doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, I know. Another point I wanted to hit. I agree with the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady talk you were talking about. Like, I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback. It's hard to bet against Tom Brady, but Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback right now.
Here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with being number 2. For some reason, people look at it and say, oh, my God, you're disparaging Brady. I'm not disparaging Brady. I'm just saying there's one guy in the world right now that I think is better than Tom Brady. That's not a disparaging.
Yeah. And also about the Ezekiel Elliott and Odell Beckham. Ezekiel Elliott would hit 10 yards before being touched. Odell Beckham is a far better player because Odell Beckham made the plays himself. A 2-yard slant touchdown.
Look, I don't. That to me is not even up for
down.
debate. And look,
Yeah.
these are other players, and I'm sure they're not analyzing and giving the time that we do. And thanks for the call, Richard, on Sports Talk Radio. But come on, I mean, you tell me if you're starting a team, and if you're a Jets fan, and I'm offering you Elliott or Beckham, who are you taking? You're taking Beckham. He's better. Giants lose Beckham, their offense completely changes. Cowboys lose Elliott. Their offense is, I mean, it takes a hit. They're still good. 866-ESPN. It's 866-729-3776. Ray in the Bronx is on ESPN Radio. What's up, Ray?
What's up, Dave?
How are you, man?
I do want to. I'm all right. I can't complain. Good to hear you, too. Good to hear you.
Thank you.
I do want to say quickly, though, that I do think those remarks are somewhat disparaging. Now, if someone is second and that's validated and it's a valid thing, then fine. But he isn't second, Dave. And I want to tell you why. Because for the same reason you say Aaron Rodgers is great outside of the pocket, which you may mention he might be the greatest. He might be the greatest at that. Tom Brady cannot move. He's been in cement since he came in the league, and he's still able to make plays. And yeah, he was a passenger on 2 of those Super Bowl rings, but he's definitely won that Atlanta Super Bowl. And we've seen him do something, Dave, that we've never seen another quarterback do at that time.
You're right, Ray, but what
Right?
did I say
Right?
negatively about Tom Brady?
I don't think it's negative. I think you're kind of just sweeping his eliteness under the rug to say, yeah, he's
By
elite,
saying he's a
and-
top
and
3
I'm
quarterback in the
better.
history of the game, that's sweeping his eliteness under the rug?
So that being said, is he better than Aaron Rodgers, the best quarterback in the history of the game? That makes him better than Aaron Rodgers, right?
I don't know about that. Let me see how Aaron. I mean, I got to see more of Aaron Rodgers' career. I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do in the next 4 or 5 years.
That's true, but we know he's not going to ring 4 more rings. That's not going to happen either, Dave.
Okay, so if that's the case, then Dan Marino is not in the same category as Troy Aikman, right?
All right, and in that argument you do win. I can see that one. But Brady is, I think,
Brady
he
is great. What have I, Ray? Well, I've said nothing negative, nothing even remotely negative about Tom Brady. I think he is great. I think he's the second best quarterback in the world right now. I think if you have him as your quarterback, you're fortunate. I think he's an elite quarterback in the history of the game. Because I think Aaron Rodgers is better does not mean it's a knock on Tom Brady.
I hear you, Dave. I hear you.
All right. We good? We
All
okay?
right, and one more thing
Go
about
ahead.
Phil, though. So you wouldn't buy out Carmelo Anthony and just get rid of him? You wouldn't
No.
pay him, but your concern is that you're not going to get anything back.
Look, I'd like to get something back. I'm not gonna get a star player back. I'd like to get something back.
How
I'm
about we
not
got
buying
Kevin
him out.
Love back?
If that's what
Are you
he's
okay with
desperate
that?
for right now, Ray, and thanks for the call. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not catering to this guy. And you know what makes me annoyed when you think about it? That they were so dumb. Not only to bring him back, which I was completely opposed to at the time, but to give him a no-trade clause? Why would you do that? And if you're Melo and you want out of here, then you know what? Open up the teams that you're willing to accept the trade to. Don't make it solely Cleveland. I'll go to Golden State, maybe Boston. No, you know what? Open up to those second. How about Washington? What's wrong with Washington? You got Beal, you got Wall, you got Porter, you got Gortat. He'd be a great fit there. They liked it up and down the court. They got an elite point guard. Open up the teams you're willing to go to. Actually be a good fit for him. Really good fit for him. Will is on ESPN Radio. Good afternoon, Will.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
I was just wanted to know about the Brady debate. Can you make your case again for why Rodgers is better? Because I'm pretty sure all you're saying is because he's better out of the pocket.
I think he's got a considerably better arm.
Okay.
I think he is better out of the pocket, outside of the pocket. I think, and I mean, how many more reasons do you need?
Well, Brady's a lot better in sync with his wide receivers. He's a magician in the pocket. I mean, the guy's got like eyes on the back of his head. What else was there?
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot. All right, thanks.
All right, thanks, Will. That's terrific. 866-ESPN, 866-729-3776. You guys are taking this incorrectly. I've not said one negative thing about Tom Brady. All I've said is I think Aaron Rodgers is better, and everyone is just shocked at how could you make a statement like that? It's just a quote from another GM in the league on NFL Live on ESPN that says what Aaron Rodgers does outside of the pocket may be the greatest that we've ever seen from any quarterback in the history of the game. Brady has great pocket presence. And he can move 3 yards. It's something that Eli has never had, and it always frustrates me. Brady feels the rush. Brady can be at the 37, feel the rush, move 2 yards to the right, and change the play. And Eli has never been able to do that. So you're right that the pocket presence that Tom Brady has is different than almost everybody. But Aaron Rodgers will run 8 yards right, 6 yards back, 3 yards right, and find a guy for a 60-yard touchdown. And you can't compare the teams. You can't compare the coaches. Look, I love Brady. But Tom Brady went into the most perfect system that any quarterback could ever have gone to. Ever, ever, ever. Who's the best coach of all time? Right now, I ask you, who's the best coach of all time? Mike McCarthy or Bill Belichick? Right? And look what the Patriots did this offseason. Added Stephon Gilmore. Added Rex Burkhead. Added Brandon Cooks. James wants to talk quarterbacks. What's up, James? You're on ESPN Radio.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Good.
I agree that Aaron Rodgers is one of the most talented quarterbacks that there is, or the league might have ever seen. But as far as, and I know you're not slighting Tom Brady, but I think by saying that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback is a slight to Tom Brady.
Why? Why is that a slight to Tom Brady?
Because Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback to ever play this.
Well, if you think that to be true, then yeah, I understand that. So you don't think there's any way I can make the case for Joe Montana?
I'm a diehard Niners fan, and I think he's better than Joe Montana.
Okay, you don't think that if someone calls and says Johnny Unitas is a better quarterback than Tom, like you can't have that conversation. John Elway better. I can't have that conversation.
I think you're saying these are all great players, but they have never done the things Tom Brady's done. Tom Brady's ability to read the defense and to get the ball out of his hand is what makes him be able to stay playing this league at 40 years old. I mean, and one other point I want to make. I want to make one other quick point.
Go ahead.
That Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott are very blessed to play behind the best offensive line in football. If them two are on the Browns, I guarantee you they're not on the top 10.
I'll tell you what. And thanks for the call, James. If you put Ezekiel Elliott on the Browns, I still think he puts up pretty big numbers. If you put up Dak Prescott on the Browns, I don't know that he gets half the discussion that he does.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
I want to read these tweets to you from Mark Stein once more regarding Carmelo Anthony. League sources, Carmelo Anthony's camp, while acknowledging Melo's preference to stay in New York City, has tried to engage the Knicks in buyout talks. But league sources say that the Knicks have thus far resisted the idea of a Melo buyout that would clear the way for him to join the Cavs. If I'm Phil Jackson, no way. You want to be dealt, open up the amount of teams that you take a deal to. Look, the Knicks have to just get something in return for Carmelo Anthony. But I'll ask you this. Does he have any value? At $50 million for 2 years? There may not be a partner that's willing to pay $25 million a year for 2 years for an aging, injured, one-dimensional Carmelo Anthony. Angelo in Staten Island is on ESPN Radio. What's up, Angelo?
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Good.
We talk from time to time throughout the season about what's going on with the team. Now, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't think that Melo is the problem here. I think the reason why he's asking for this buyout is because he knows he's not welcome here by Phil. I don't think he's the problem.
But he's not. He doesn't help solve the problem, Angelo.
Right. Well,
would you agree? Would you agree there is? Would you agree there is a problem? Is there a problem?
Right. There is a problem, but
okay, so there's a problem, and Melo is on this team, and it's not getting better with him, so it's time to move on from him.
Right, but it's not like we have anybody that we want to develop that Melo's taking minutes away.
Well, I'd like to see. You know what I'd like to see, Angelo? I'd like to see the offense run through Porzingis. I'd like to see that. So maybe he's not taking minutes away from him, but he's certainly taking the focal point and shots away from KP.
Right, but they made the mistake. They gave him the contract. They gave him the no trade. And now the fact is, it's the way that the organization, I mean, obviously we can't get into that, but again, Phil's coaching the team, or, trying to have the team coached like it's 20 years ago. Forgetting that when he had this triangle going, he had the two best players in their prime, either Jordan or Kobe. And also, like, we had a chance last year. I'm not saying he would have been the answer, but we could have gotten a 1-for-1 Rubio for Derrick Rose, who we know is injury
which was
prone.
horrible. Angela, I got to run it. Thanks for the call. And I said it at the time, after. That's a trade. Rubio's owed 2 years and I think $26 million or something, $28 million for an above average point guard. And then you work Ntilikina behind him, and then he takes the job. Oh my God! Now maybe that's still something that they can do, because I saw a report earlier, not today, but earlier this week, that said that Rubio is still on the market. I'm Phil. I'd make that deal. They want Melo. I wonder if you could do like a Melo for Rubio and something kind of a deal. Be interesting. But then Melo would say, I don't want to go there. But that's a team on the come, aren't they? Look what they have. Butler, Towns, Wiggins, add Melo there. Be special. Be fun. Curtis, Long Island, ESPN Radio. What's up, Kurt?
How's it going, Dave? We've spoken before. I was the guy that got a whooping because I wanted to go to LT's football camp. But what I want to disagree with you with is you were basically saying that if Melo takes the buyout, then you don't believe that he's there for his son, which I don't understand.
No. If he takes if his whole point, and I don't know that it is, but if his whole point is I don't want to leave New York because I want to be near my son, and he takes the buyout and he goes to Cleveland, well, it kind of defeats that whole premise, doesn't it?
I don't see how, because what is he supposed to do? Take a loss on both ends? Is he supposed to just open up a trade to go to a team that's far away from his son and then not be able to see him at all?
If you want to go somewhere, then get traded somewhere.
No,
if you want to leave New York, then open up this 2 or 3 team window of where you're willing to go.
I agree with what you're saying, but at the end of the day, if I gotta bow down and basically take what you're giving, why can't I at least you gave me this contract? Why can't I at least want the team that I want to go to?
Look, Curtis, he can do whatever he wants. And thanks for the call. But I'm as a Knicks guy and Phil Jackson, I also have to do what's right for my team. So I'm not gonna cater to you every step of the way. Nick, Long Island, ESPN Radio. What's up, Nick?
How's it going, Dave?
Good.
I just have an argument to bring up about Brady and Rodgers.
I can't hear you, Nick. I got to let you run. Call me back tomorrow. Phil, real quick, you're on ESPN Radio.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. Appreciate it.
Go ahead, real quick.
On the Brady and Rodgers argument, one thing that surprises me always, I 100% agree with you about Rodgers being better than Brady, but a guy that gets zero love in terms of rankings, MVP talk, Ben Roethlisberger. Why does he get no love?
Roethlisberger is great. Roethlisberger has had, and thanks to the goal, has had a sensational career. He's won multiple Super Bowls. He's as tough a quarterback as you've ever seen. He's taken more punishment than maybe every quarterback we've ever seen. I mean, just because you're not Brady, just because you're not Rodgers, doesn't mean that you're not good. A lot of good quarterbacks. Breeze is a great quarterback as well. Wait, this is a fun show. Got into a lot of really interesting things. Good stuff from all you guys, certainly. I'll be back tomorrow for Stephen A. right here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.